Good morning, my friends. I want to discuss something that is basic, and I know I say a lot, defining what your needs are in the context of limbic recovery in a basic way. If you've had a limbic system impairment and you have active limbic impairment, the number one thing that your brain needs, and there's a caveat to this that I'll address later, is regulatory sensory input. And I want to explain what that means in English. So your brain in this state is in it really deeply is experiencing life as if you are being hunted by some life-threatening creature all the time. There is this experience you're having where your brain thinks you are in, mortal danger at all times. And the biggest thing that brains and nervous systems will pick up on is the sensory environment to say, is this environment safe? And in this situation, it is our job as the person with the ability to have executive function and decide where you place your attention to bring all of your attention, or as much of it as you can, to things that are soft, things like running water, pleasant kind of background sounds, whether it's pleasant music or nature sounds or soft and bright and soothing colors. Things that would signify a safe environment for a primal person. If you think about like grass and trees and running water, things like that signify that your environment is safe. Loud, startling noises usually signify that the environment is not the safest place, which is why our brains often overreact to them so much. But overall, anything like that. So that's why we bring our attention to, soft clothing, to pleasant colors in the environment, to sounds that are pleasant, and to uplifting positive things that signify life and joy and all of that sort of thing. And same thing with somatics, even, hand on heart, like there is such an amazing, powerful thing that happens in your brain and nervous system by just putting your hand on your heart. It's wild how much happens neurologically with just one simple somatic movement like this. If you need to take a somatics class and learn some other things, I encourage you to do that. But that's one of the biggest things you need, is to bring your attention to something, anything that is positive and soothing in your environment. And so the caveat is that because the limbic system really believes that you're in danger, if you were actually being stalked by a tiger or something like that, and you stop to smell the roses and admire them, you are putting yourself in more danger. Like, that's not a good idea. We want to be tracking the threat if we're actually in danger, which is also why your limbic system will track your symptoms. It sees them as paper tigers and as threats. So it's trying to keep track of them to keep you safe. Now, your symptoms are not a threat, and the sensations that come with them are not a threat, but the limbic system's perceiving them that way. Same thing with triggers in your environment, whatever they may be. Your brain is perceiving your triggers as if they are, coming to get you, which is why we have the scanning in the environment and hyperfixating on things that your brain is perceiving as threatening. So it will also, yes, resist your attempts to bring your focus to positive things, because it's trying to like pull you harder and be like, no, alarm bells, like you're not okay. Don't stop and smell the flowers. Bad idea. And that can create a lot of activation sometimes, or resistance, because your brain's just doing its job. And there'll be more for another time in terms of how to work with that on a basic level, really taking a moment to recognize and thank your limbic system for trying to help you survive. It's doing its job. Thank you, limbic system, for helping me in the best way you can to, to stay alive. Like, that's what it's doing. It's just doing its job. Feels very aggressive and uncomfortable sometimes, but that's all that's happening. Pausing to recognize what's happening when your brain is resistant and thanking your brain for helping you and doing its job can help to soften that resistance, and also moves you into a different perspective where you're observing and recognizing what's happening for what it is, instead of believing the false message that it's not okay to shift your attention, or that you can't do it, or that it's too hard, or that it's not working. Oftentimes those are false messages that come up when we have that natural resistance. And if we don't understand what's going on in the brain, it's very easy to believe them and to either give up or feel very discouraged and have our progress slowed. So there's just a little rundown of those things for you guys to make your day-to-day practice, give you some hacks into working with your brain more efficiently. Love you guys.